Howdy folks, Tetsu here, down in the lower tiers where the power's low, but the battles are fierce. And today I'll be continuing my self-proclaimed quest to archive all the battles during the first 7U tournament, which thereby hope to bring light to the tier and possibly help it grow. So join me as we move on to the 15th match of round 2. Our combatants this time will be FlamingRok against InfernoDragon 18. While FlamingRok is a new face, InfernoDragon is coming on strong with a 2-0 victory over Torterraxx from the first round. Either way, their skills shall be witnessed here today by both myself and you, the viewer. If you happen to enjoy the video, I humbly request you click that like button. Also, subscribe and click that bell if you want to be notified for later uploads. Working together, we can bring more attention to this fascinating metagame. With all that said, let's begin. Alright, match 15, game 1. Let's play lead metagame. Voltorb coming from FlamingRok and Tentacle for InfernoDragon. A quick switch to Rhyhorn makes it immune. And Shoulder is sent out, tanking a Earthquake, doing a little bit less than half. Clamp comes out as Beedrill switched in. Mega Drain from Beedrill, but that's not really going to do a lot of damage. Oh! Clamp misses and Beedrill takes it out with Hyper Beam. Voltorb gets switched, and then Ivysaur baiting for InfernoDragon to switch in Rhyhorn. Sleep Powder goes down, trying to catch Beedrill as it switches in, but Twin Needle does a lot of damage to Ivysaur. Beedrill is put to sleep, Charmeleon comes out, and FlamingRok sends in their own Charmeleon. Rhyhorn going for the counter from FlamingRok, but Rhyhorn takes no damage, goes for a substitute as Ivysaur switched in. Razor Leaf goes, and Ivysaur is taken out. InfernoDragon is up by 2 mons. Tentacle switched in for Rock, and Tentacle for InfernoDragon takes Blizzard and goes for the Wrap to deal as much damage as possible to Rock's Tentacle. Are we going to see a switch at any point for either player? Oh, and a crit going for this time. So Rock's Tentacle is going to be taking a ton of damage. And they switch to Meowth coming from FlamingRok. Does a little bit of damage. Ivysaur coming in. And Meowth goes for the substitute. Sleep Powder hits, though. And immediately Rock switches for... I find that a bit strange. Why not let the substitute play out for a little bit? But anyway... Rhyhorn gets burned upon its switch in, and Charmeleon is then switched out for Meowth. InfernoDragon goes for their Meowth, and unfortunately Rox is just not able to wake up and it gets taken out. Voltorb coming from Rock, Rhyhorn, even though burned. Oh, and FlamingRok has Flash on their Voltorb. Not that it did a whole bunch of damage much this time, since Earthquake still hit, but because Rhyhorn is burned, it's not doing very much damage. InfernoDragon goes for the counter, and FlamingRok goes for the counter as well. Always funny to see that happen. Fire Spin, critical hit on Tentacle as it was switched in, and on Charmeleon as it switched in by Rock. Oh, and finally Fire Spin misses. Tentacle is not close enough to being taken out, I don't think. Winds up doing a little bit of damage to Infernos on the switch in. Uses Mega Drain, of all moves. And goes for the Wrap on Charmeleon coming from Rock. Now, the dangerous part about here is that Charmeleon is still fat. Oh! Surf! Hitting Voltorb on the switch in. Flash going for accuracy, but it still lands the Sleep Powder. InfernoDragon's Tentacle is in. Unfortunately, Charmeleon did not get the one-turn wake-up. Tentacle for Rock being hit on the entry. And, oh, are we going to see Beedrill wake up? Oh, no, it's going to be a bit of switching. Trying to stall out. And a crit from Rock takes out InfernoDragon's Tentacle. But this is not looking good. One sleeping Charmeleon and one Voltorb. This is not looking good. The only way that this can end well, which I don't think it can, is if Voltorb can stall out Rhyhorn long enough to, well, I'm kind of confused. Why not just finish it? InfernoDragon apparently has had enough and is just going to take out Charmeleon. And with Voltorb in, it's over. I mean, good effort, I guess. Let's move on to Game 2. Alright, Game 2. Let's play Lead Metagame. Voltorb coming from FlamingRok and InfernoDragon this time. So both players... Oh! Switch to Rhyhorn and Ivysaur from Rock and InfernoDragon with the Rhyhorn. I got that mixed up. And I'm already behind. Ooh, Shelter getting switched in to tank a Fire Blast from Charmeleon. Goes for the Clamp on Ivysaur. Unfortunately, like I was trying to say before, if a Mon is faster than the Mon that is trapping, it has a chance to do basically this. Sleep Powder hits Ivysaur, Charmeleon gets switched in, Tentacool for InfernoDragon gets switched in, and Shelter on entry takes a massive amount of damage from Hydro Pump and then Surf, since it is slower than Tentacool. Rock switches to their Voltorb to bait out Rhyhorn. This is a fairly consistent baiting strategy, although it doesn't seem to be doing Rock much good, admittedly. InfernoDragon sends in their Voltorb for a little wrap shenanigans, maybe. Oh, but FlamingRok gets baited this time. And their Tentacool gets hit with a Hydro Pump on entry and begins the rap battle anew. Gosh dang, a lot of baiting going on in this match. Oh, Mega Drain coming from FlamingRok to stave off a little bit of the damage. I find that a bit strange to see, I will admit, because it doesn't heal nearly enough, but InfernoDragon is doing a lot of damage, though, to FlamingRok. And with Voltorb in, Tentacool, is this going to be another bait? No, Voltorb is actually stayed in. And Rhyhorn gets to substitute on a sleeping Ivysaur. This is not looking good for Rock right now. Like, massively. Ivysaur is not waking up, and Rhyhorn just takes it out. One of its best checks. And now, Meowth is going to be taking a ton of damage, and I don't think Bubble Beam's going to take it out from here, but Dragon's deciding that it's going to switch into Ivysaur instead. Charmeleon? No, it goes for the slash, tries to do as much damage as possible. Meowth gets put to sleep. I guess they expected the Charmeleon to be switched in. Tentacool is switched in on... Oh, no, it was slash to get as much damage, and Hydro Pump takes out Charmeleon. I'm really not keeping up with this. Tentacool from FlamingRok does a little bit of rap, and Voltorb is asleep. So, is it going to wake up? If Rock... Yeah, there it goes! Hydro Pump hits, though. And Rock switches their Voltorb to resist the incoming electricity. Thunderbolt is immune on the incoming Rhyhorn. And Meowth gets switched in to be... And again with the substitute. Yeah, Tentacool is going to be taken down now, and Voltorb doesn't have a prayer. So, this is pretty much Inferno's game. Yeah, there we go. Alright, that was admittedly very, very one-sided. So, what did we learn? Well, let's start with the common lead this game. Voltorb is fast, with base 100 speed stat, making it the fastest mon in the tier. Has access to Thunder Wave to pair opposing leads, can run tech choices like Flash and Toxic to impair Ivysaur or Rhyhorn. On top of that, when all else fails, Voltorb can potentially take opposing mon out with Explosion. On paper, this seems like a decent idea. In practice, though, while faster than other leads, Voltorb is incredibly vulnerable to, well, everything. It lacks much in the way of defensive utility outside of switching into itself or Meowth's packing Thunderbolt. Another problem is, while it has ways to hinder its checks, these methods are very unreliable. They require prediction to use, and even if you guessed right, both moves can still fail. Its checks also wall it in other ways. Rhyhorn is outright immune to Voltorb's stab, and Ivysaur, while not immune, does not really mind being parried since it prevents the mon from being slept. That said, this obvious weakness can be put to use as well. well. In this match, we saw Voltorb use to bait its checks in, allowing the player to double switch in the perfect counter. This is incredibly risky, of course, and if your opponent wisens up or doesn't take the bait to begin with, you could quickly find yourself sending a Mon in to eat an unwanted attack. Something else we saw in this match was a drawback of partial trapping, that being the speed requirement. Oftentimes, you'll see a Mon with higher speed switch into a trapper to threaten it out. While simple in concept, another aspect of this is on the switch. A good example is Shelter. With a base speed of 40, Shell has a tough time making use of its pivot potential. It has other good points, of course, but speed is something to bear in mind when using it. With the match over, InfernoDragon 18 will be moving on to the WB, while the FlamingRok will be going down with their first elimination to the LB. We'll be catching up with them later again, I'm sure. And if you happen to enjoy the video or found it interesting, why not join in on the fun? I've got all the necessary links in the description, from the Discord all the way to the resource hub. I hope to see you there. And until next time, everybody, take care.